Do I think it's weird? Yeah, I do believe in the men in black. What if all of them were here, so no one looked over here? On New Year's Day 2024, concerned citizens in Miami, Florida began posting videos showing an absolutely staggering police response to something going on in the area surrounding the Bayside Marketplace, a large mall complex located here. As you can see, between 60 and 100 police vehicles arrived to the marketplace, locking down the area completely. As the chaos continued, some footage was aired on the news claiming the intense police presence was on scene to deal with a brawl involving somewhere between several and up to 50 adolescents, and that some of them may have had sticks. Rumors began to emerge that there was a massive power outage in the area, that flights out of the Miami International Airport had been grounded, and airplanes en route to the airport were being routed away with only a sole black helicopter left hovering over the scene, and that the police at some point had cut the public's access to the police scanner. And seemingly out of nowhere, while the incident was still very much ongoing, there was a second, far different narrative that spread like wildfire on X and TikTok. Some people who claimed to have been at the Bayside Marketplace during the disturbance alleged that the police were not responding to a brawl, but instead to lock down the area in order to stop an incursion by otherworldly beings. Allegedly, the interlopers were described as 7 to 10 foot tall creatures. They had apparently entered the mall only to be fired upon by terrified mall patrons, those being the gunshots that witnesses from outside the mall complex reported hearing. Now, let's stop there. Do I believe that aliens or giants decided to ring in the new year by going on a shopping spree in Miami? Honestly, no. And although there is no evidence, or maybe even just a tiny little crumb of evidence for an alien encounter, I believe there is ample and extremely obvious evidence that something bizarre occurred, and that there's a media blitz or cover-up that has been rolled out very quickly. And that's not some crazy new thing that we're experiencing. Maybe I'm a paranoid delusional conspiracy theorist, but it does seem like the overall weirdness of our reality has been ramping up, and the cover-ups are happening with increasing frequency and less attention to detail. Or it could be just a change in technique. One of the titles I was thinking of using, or maybe did use for this video, is when the conspiracy theory is part of the cover-up. But we're going to cliffhanger that idea for now, and we'll get back into it later. First, let's go over what some people are claiming happened at the Bayside Marketplace, the evidence being used to kind of tout the official story, and some of the other strange events that occurred kind of in the margins of the situation that lead me to believe that something very strange did indeed happen. But it's probably not the thing that's being allowed to get millions and millions of views online. With all that being said, I'm Max, this is Parasyke TV, let's get into it. So let's start with the big, juicy claims of the 7 to 10 foot tall alien creatures. I believe that most of these claims are stemming from 3 sources. First, we have this video, where miraculously, even though we have crystal clear 1080p footage of the area and cop cars from the same night, here we get an extremely blurry look at one of the creatures, which, like, come on, no. I don't think so, no. Some people are saying that these creatures have some kind of hold over technology or emit some kind of electromagnetic frequency to mess with people's cameras, which, sure, but I don't think that's what this is. If that were the case, would the creature just slightly lower the quality of the video and put a blur effect over himself, or would he completely scramble the device showing nothing? It's been pointed out that these are actually 3 cops walking side by side. I don't know about that either. To be clear, I do believe in aliens. I don't know if they're from outer space, but I do believe in aliens. I just don't think this is one. Then we have this eyewitness who came forward about his experience.
No cap, I looked back, it looked like a big ass shadow, but it was solid at the same time, like a few shadows, but they were solid at the same time, and it almost looked like they was coming our direction, like they was chasing us.
Only to immediately recant the next day.
But for real, like real shit though, on the dead homies, I was trolling. I ain't never even been to Miami. Yo, y'all be bugging.
Now, of course, a lot of people online that really want this thing to be true are saying like, oh, the men in black must have gotten to him. Someone got to him. Again, I don't think so. If you watch him in the first video, he has kind of a not so subtle smirk that he's just barely containing. called Duper's Delight. You see it all the time with crisis actors. He's excited, giddy even at the idea that he's pulling one over on someone. Then in his recant video, he seems genuinely chill about it. A lot of people think they want their notifications popping off, and then when it happens, it's just too much and they don't want to deal with it. And you wake up and your phone is just blowing up, and 70% of it is people calling you a liar. You're either going to double down on your story or try to nip it in the bud as soon as possible. This guy just seems like he's busy, stuff to do. No time to be the key witness to a potentially volatile situation involving the police and two very heated opposing sides. I do believe in the men in black. So do some very high-level Air Force personnel, and several scientists, researchers, and witnesses to the paranormal that claim that they have been visited by the men in black. By all accounts, an encounter with them is at best deeply unsettling, and at worst, life-altering. This man neither looks deeply unsettled nor recently life-altered. He looks amused, if not slightly uncomfortable with his 15 seconds of fame. Next, we have this series of tweets. Are they still called tweets, or are they X's? Someone help me, I hate it here. These tweets were posted by Moab2597. I was at the Miami Mall yesterday, and the government is lying. There were no kids fighting. Everyone started panicking because these gray creatures were walking around. They didn't make any noises or sounds, but stared and watched you move. I tried to make a video, but every time I would try to, it would just bug out. They set a perimeter and wouldn't let anyone out or in, unless they went through their photos. We were visited by aliens and the government is covering it up. They were about 6 to 7 feet tall and walked very slowly. They could turn their head around completely, and it seemed like they could change forms, like they didn't have any bones, and could just bend their body in whatever way. No fingers or feet, just arms and legs. They could also seemingly teleport. They weren't walking around normally, but instead disappearing and then quickly reappearing somewhere else. This allowed them to walk through some of the glass displays in the mall and through walls. You couldn't escape if they wanted to kill. But they didn't seem aggressive, nor did they seem like they wanted to kill anybody. It almost seemed like they were lost, but they also weren't scared of the army of police that was all around. They must have felt like they were far superior. This was posted earlier, and I cannot verify its authenticity. All I can say is that it looks very similar to what I and others reportedly saw. No fingers or legs, anatomically consistent with a being that glides as opposed to steps. Update. People have been walking up to my door all night, sunglasses on for some reason. Why would they wear sunglasses at night? I am arranging to leave area. I am willing to share my story to one person, enough to share my truth without having to fight to be believed. But here's my problem with these tweets. They were sent on January 5th, days after the event occurred. Moab posted memes on January 1st at noon and January 4th at 7 a.m. So if they were at the mall and did see aliens and have this insane encounter, why didn't they share it right away? Coincidentally, they didn't share their experience until January 5th, after the entire thing had gone completely viral. There has also been another little wrinkle over the last couple days. Some people online are now claiming that some teens either used a spirit box or some kind of technology to open a portal within the mall. The narrative spans from some kind of hidden Tesla-era technology to like Ouija board ritual type stuff. This claim seems to have originated from a TikTok user known as Portatalk, who claimed to have been in the area in Miami for a graffiti expo. But I couldn't find anything about a graffiti expo on January 1st in Miami online anywhere. There are several graffiti museums in Miami that offer showings and tours, but nothing about any kind of major exposition. And this is the artist's rendition of what he allegedly saw. So yeah, my opinion about a lot of these people that are claiming to have seen these things are that they were most likely nowhere near Miami or in Florida even, and just knew that they would get a lot of attention if they were the first ones to claim certain details about the event. And some of them have gotten a lot of attention. It's some of the more mundane details that are, to me, very interesting. And it's those details that lead me to believe that it was probably something more than a brawl between adolescents that occurred at the Bayside Market. In addition to the bizarre claims about the 7 to 10 foot aliens, oddly enough, all flights to and from the Miami International Airport may have been canceled or delayed for the night. I say may have because there's not very much information on this other than a few users on X, but they at least have some evidence. As far as I can tell, the airport closure or no flights in and out rumors originate from Nola Nurse RN on X. posting updates about the power outage that had occurred that was affecting around 60,000 homes in the Miami area, and screenshots of a flight radar tracking app, showing that all air traffic had been grounded except for one police helicopter. It also seems that during the whole event taking place, police may have cut the public's access to their police scanners, which might make sense if they were responding to a coordinated multiple active shooter event, but we know from the official story that's not what they're saying happened. I'm gonna stop here for a second and just say this whole thing is so weird. It's like some people claim that there's no air traffic and there's power outages and fluctuations, and the police may have cut access to the police scanners, and they post various images and video clips to kind of back their claims up. Then people go in their comments and start talking about how there's all these massive 10-foot aliens there. And then other people come in and say stuff like, no, you're using the police scanner app wrong. You don't know what you're looking at when you look at the flight tracker. But then ego gets involved in some of the people that were just providing small shreds of evidence to kind of add to the story of whatever was happening, are now vehemently defending the fact that it must be this alien thing because that's the narrative that their little piece of evidence got attached to. It could be an ingenious strategy for information control. Now, I took a look at the outage map on the Florida Power and Light website, hoping that they had some kind of history function where you could go back and see like past outages, but unfortunately they did not have any function like that, so we kind of have to rely on these screenshots, which I don't think they're fake. These were posted at around 8:30 p.m. like while the situation was ongoing, and it would just be kind of a weird detail to make up. But I guess they're all weird details. So that goes for the flight tracking screenshots too. So it is my opinion that those are legitimate. I do believe there was probably a large power outage. Even though you can see lights in the footage, that doesn't mean other nearby areas weren't affected. And I also believe that for a period of time, flights were grounded. Now, do I think that means aliens? No. Do I think it's weird? Yeah. But we're not at theory time yet, so let's continue. This area, like most high population density areas in the world right now, is plastered in CCTV. And a lot of high-end shops, like the ones in Bayside Marketplace, would have high-res footage of whatever happened that night. So we should ostensibly have a lot more footage of these fights from inside the mall, or of whatever chaos may have occurred to require such an overwhelming police response. I don't think a lot of people that heard this story are kind of looking at the footage and stopping to think, when was the last time they saw this kind of response? Maybe at the Route 91 shooting in Las Vegas, which was a major terror attack. It was a huge event. But I don't think we ever saw any pictures or video of like this kind of police presence. A police representative even said in a clip that it was a call for all units to respond. I just have a very, very hard time believing that this was all over a fight. Something that unfortunately happens 50 times a day, every day, in every major city in America. And yes, that is including the potentiality that firecrackers may have been lit that caused a panic that there was a mass shooter. I would think that by the time the first 15 cop cars arrived, they would have the threat assessed and taken care of. When all said and done, 4 teenagers were arrested. 4. I'm not a cop. I don't know how this stuff works, but this seems very excessive. I can't show this clip because what's happening in it would most likely get the video taken down, but this is a screenshot of what the news media is kind of circulating to excuse why there were so many police. The clip shows maybe 15 young men ganging up and attacking another man. That's it. The police surrounded this entire complex for hours and arrested 4 people. So what is my theory? I think something very strange and probably scary did occur. I find it really weird that we're not getting any footage from inside the mall or any patrons from the mall. No interviews outside the mall detailing what happened. No morning after interviews describing the chaos. Only this word from the MPD.
So I can confirm to you all here today right now that there are no aliens in Miami in Bayside Marketplace at the moment.
When you try to look any of this stuff up, all you get is stuff like this. And it's kind of perfect because the no footage argument works for both sides. There were aliens in the mall. Well, everyone has a camera. Where's the footage? There was a mob of teens attacking each other and lighting fireworks off at the other mall patrons. Well, everyone has a camera. Where's the footage? So in my opinion, one of 3 things happened. 1. A group of teens used either suppressed Tesla technology or dark magic to open a portal in a bustling Miami mall. And then, people that were almost certainly not there are the only people to come forward about what actually happened. And this is the worst government cover-up of all time. 2. A large group of rambunctious teens were reported for lighting off fireworks at patrons in a bustling Miami mall, in a city where violent crime occurs literally every day. And the entire police department responded, as though there was very real, very solid intelligence that a terrorist attack was either happening or about to occur. 3. My favorite option, because I both believe in and find high strangeness subjects to be fascinating, and frankly know more about the way the world's governments actually function than I'd ever wanted to. Something else happened. Something that the public is not supposed to witness or wouldn't fit in with any of the currently accepted narratives that hold society together in a fragile balance. For now, war has evolved. It's information, it's infrastructure, it's acute nicks that eventually lead to total destabilization. The planes may have been grounded because there was actionable intel of a real threat towards the airport. Flashing lights tend to be attention grabbing. What if all of them were here, so no one looked over here? Except for maybe this nurse. The power outage clearly didn't affect the mall area, but it may have been indicative of a larger attack on the surrounding area. Also, some very important people spend a lot of time and have some very valuable assets in that area. I know it's not as fun as 7 to 10 foot aliens, but a lot of the aspects about this case kind of remind me of the 2016 Las Vegas incident. But now with the absolutely mad escalation of everything, has the system finally figured out to handily and easily turn everyone that usually questions these events against themselves and each other. Like 5 minutes into a very odd and very sudden event occurring, there's already social media influencers with over 1 million followers tripling down that it has to be aliens that came from a portal opened by teens. And anyone that says any different is in denial or is a bot. Then you have the rest of the conspiracy community saying that this is all just a big distraction to distract us from the list. Any number of clandestine operations by one agency could have been occurring in the area, mistaken for some kind of attack or criminal activity by another agency. It happens. And when those sort of things happen, pretty much the only thing that's important to these agencies is not being exposed. Taking all of this in over the last couple of days, a question kind of popped up in my mind. How often is the conspiracy theory part of the cover-up? Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please comment down below what you think happened at the Miami Mall. I'm totally open for other interpretations. This is just how I feel after kind of obsessing over it and looking into everyone's bizarre claims over the last few days. I am really absolutely not trying to hate on anybody that believes something paranormal may have occurred. The most interesting thing about this case to me is how quickly the narrative escalated from "there's something creepy going on," "look at all these cops," "the power's out, there's no planes allowed in the sky," to "teenagers summon interdimensional demonic beings at the Miami Mall." And this is all coming from somebody that believes that interdimensional entities probably do exist, and it's probably in our best interest to steer clear of them. Too late.